You've taken a wrong turn down Creep Street.
Citizens of the Milky Way, my name is Dylan Hackworth.
I'm Maureen Bogey.
And this is Creep Street. First off, as always, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Creep Street Podcast, Twitter at Creep Street Pod, and guess what?
What?
We just got a fucking TikTok.
TikTok, baby.
We have no idea what we're going to do.
We don't understand it, no.
But I'm going to tell you one thing. We're going to put TikTok on the map.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take that little upstart that no one's ever heard of, and we're going to make it the fucking platform of the future.
We're finally going to get some sort of attention drawn their way.
Oh, yeah. Finally, we're going to shed some much-needed light on TikTok. I bet the TikTok folks, when they hear that they just got plugged by
they're
the
gonna
Creep
be
Street
so
Podcast,
happy.
they're going to shit their pants. They are going to shit their collective pants.
That's so true, though.
We got a holiday coming up here in the U.S. of A.
Oh, we sure do.
To our listeners here in the United States, obviously, a happy Independence Day. Celebrate safely. And,
Well, 4th of July time.
Have fun, but obviously be safe, you know.
Don't blow your fingers off
Don't
with
blow your
firecrackers.
face off with
fireworks.
fireworks. What are we talking about today, Maureen?
We are talking about the ghosts of the White House.
Ooh, I gotta say, you don't think of the White House as a haunted house.
But then when you do think about it, though, you're
It's
like,
probably one of the
it
most
makes
haunted
so much
houses in the
sense.
fucking world.
right, because how much like intense emotion has gone through,
Yeah.
how much emotion has gone through those walls.
And not just the presidents. I mean, the people that visit from other,
Right.
I mean, kings, queens, all sorts of royal, and celebrities. Like it's a house that's seen a lot of fucking house guests.
Right.
It's seen a lot of guests.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
This isn't even a secret. If you go to whitehousehistory.org, they literally have a thing of like ghost stories.
Here's what people say. Our main sources for this episode. One is an article from the Washington Post entitled, "Is the White House Haunted? A History of Spooked Presidents, Prime Ministers, and Pets" by Teresa Vargas. And then another article from Ranker.com, 10 Creepy Presidential Ghost Stories from the White House. That is by Amanda Sedlak-Heavener. And then, of course, as Dylan said, whitehousehistory.gov.
Woo!
It's a .gov,
It's
baby.
a gov, not an org. My bad.
Oh, no, it is an org. It is an org. Hold on.
It's an org?
It's
or
an
is
org.
it a gov?
It's an org. I think a good place to start would be a little bit of a reading from a letter, okay? This is a letter that President Harry S. Truman wrote to his wife, okay? This was in 1946. So he had gone to bed, and then he was awoken at about 3 a.m.
The witching hour.
The witching hour, okay, 3 a.m. And he heard a knock on the door. And in his letter to his wife, he said,
I jumped and put on my bathrobe, opened the door, and no one was there. I went out and looked up and down the hall, looked in your room and Margie's. Still, no one. Went back to bed after locking the doors, and there were footsteps in your room whose door I'd left open. I jumped up and looked, and no one was there. Damned place is haunted, sure as shooting. Secret Service said not even a watchman was up here at that hour. You and Margie had better come back and protect me before some of these ghosts carry me off.
sure as shooting.
Sure as shooting, baby.
Okay, I mean, if that's not proof enough, then what is?
Hey, that letter doesn't open your eyes, nothing will.
Nothing will. I mean, kind of cool. Just like a spooky little precursor of what is to come. So I would just really love it if we could start with Abigail Adams.
Absolutely.
Oh, a lovely.
What a dame.
What a dame. She was the first lady. So I don't really know if this is like normal or if it was at the time or if she just really liked doing her own laundry, but Abigail Adams was doing her laundry, okay? And she would always hang up her laundry in the East Room of the White House.
Ooh, okay.
I don't really know what the East Room specifically is, but I'm assuming it's a room to the east. So she used to hang her clothes in there and hang sheets in there. And ever since she died, many people have said they have seen her ghost either hanging up laundry in the room or walking around near the area holding laundry. People say that they can smell wet, clean linens and lavender sometimes.
How haunting. If I knew I was a ghost.
Oh, I know.
And it's like, and at times, you may even see her doing the laundry. Ooh. oh. It's like the least threatening things a ghost could be doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's holding laundry, sometimes she's not. Oh.
Well,
but you know what? That's the kind of ghost, if I had to have a ghost.
Oh, that's the ghost you want.
I would want someone who, hey, they're doing their own thing. Maybe even every now and then you kind of get to, almost like what they say, like a, what do you call it?
Residual.
Residual, thank you. Where it's almost like, do you remember when CDs had a scratch and they would just play that thing over and over
Right, it's like
again?
a time loop.
It's like they're just stuck in that loop.
Right.
But, you know, something like that where you're like, oh, wow, just like seeing them do something mundane every day.
Right.
That would be kind of interesting.
I mean, I think that would be really cool to have that ghost with you, but to be that ghost, you'd be like, I'm doing laundry all the goddamn time.
Could you imagine, like, you had to complain to Abigail Adams because, like, your clothes shrunk?
I'm not mad. Really, Abigail, I'm not mad.
Look, Abigail, we love you. You've been here for like hundreds of years.
You're like part of the family.
You're part of the family. But maybe air dry.
Now another first lady, Dolly Madison.
Okay. First of all, I kind of like love the name Dolly Madison.
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
You sound both really sweet and kind, but then also maybe you got a little sass. You aren't just like a pushover. You stick up for yourself, but you're probably kind. Dolly Madison. That just sounds like the sweetest gal at the country fair.
You know what? And I think you're going to like what I'm about to spit your way.
Please.
Okay. I'm going to spit the truth. But so she was like really all about the rose garden, which is like a big thing with the White House. The first ladies are always like, we love the rose garden.
That's right.
She was like, I love this. And a lot of administrations and first ladies over the years have, wanted to maybe move it or make some adjustments to it, as well as other gardens in the area.
Tulips garden.
Right. Especially when First Lady Ellen Wilson, Woodrow Wilson's wife, she wanted to make some changes, but the gardeners kept on being visited by Dolly Madison's ghost and scaring them so many times that they just didn't do it.
Oh, so she's like, don't fuck with my rose.
She's like, I like this the way it is.
They always say, you move into a house, there might be some activity, but the second you start remodeling the joint, that's when shit starts really picking up.
Because they're like, what?
I could see, hey, if the gardens were haunted, if, you start tinkering around, taking out the roses, putting in fucking daisies or some shit, just kick the hornet's nest, baby. You got Dolly Madison on your ass.
Exactly. And she's like, no. And they were like, okay. And also people said that you can see Dolly Madison's ghost smiling among the bushes. So that's kind of cool. Let's take it up to another first lady, okay?
I'm loving that it's ladies first.
I just thought, why not, We're here, let's do it. But so now we're going to take it to possibly my favorite first lady, Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh.
One hell of a dame.
One hell of a gal.
Now, in 1932, Eleanor Roosevelt revealed that she oftentimes in her office, which was a room that was very regularly used by presidents over the years, whenever she was in there, she said that she kind of just could get a feeling that she was not alone.
Okay.
And she said, I get a distinct feeling that there is somebody in the room. She didn't really have like a specific moment where she was like, this shit's really happening. But she was like, I'm getting a vibe, and I get this vibe all the time whenever I'm in this room.
It might seem cliche that this place is apparently haunted by all these former presidents and first ladies, but if you think about it, it makes sense. If you look at before and after photos,
oh my God,
of presidents, like before office and after, like when they first got elected and then when they were leaving, they literally age 20 years.
They are haggard.
Yes. When they come out. It would make sense. There's probably so much emotional.
The most intense,
the most
memorable moments of your life.
Right. Probably the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. The emotion and everything that stands behind. I'm sure, I would assume it would probably be the same of a Buckingham Palace, or you would imagine it's probably the same thing. It's just, it would make sense.
While we're at it, we've done some first lady talk. You know what? I think maybe let's do a little bit of a first kid talk.
First kid?
Let's talk a little bit about Jenna and Barbara Bush, honey. Ooh. We're talking George W. Bush's twin daughters.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about my daughters.
I wish you guys could see him right now, because the face that Dylan puts on when he's doing his W impression is actually pretty good. The face looks like him too.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about my daughters. What happened? What's the inside story? What's the scoop?
Well, okay, this is what happened. Okay, so Jenna, one of the twins, I think the one with brown hair, she was like in her room trying to sleep, and then she heard 1920s music coming through her fireplace.
Good.
Spooky, scary. She goes to Barbara's room and she's like, Barbara. Oh no, wait, I think Jenna is actually the one with blonde hair and Barbara's the one with brown hair. I have no idea. I don't think about the Bush twins every day. So she was like, oh my gosh, this is scary. She goes and tells her sister Barbara. Barbara's like, nah. So Jenna's like, tomorrow night night, you sleep in my room and like see. And she slept in her room and she heard the 1920s music coming from the fireplace. And they told some White House staffers about it, and they confirmed. They said that kind of thing happens a lot. Lots of mysterious music can be heard throughout the White House.
It's always the Warren G. Harding administration.
Yes.
That was for all of our Warren G. Harding heads that are listening.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There was a great Warren G. Harding joke. Wait till I bust out the rest of my Harding material.
Come on.
Boy, did he hate unions.
Another kind of just like weird, spooky thing is that apparently there is an unnamed British soldier that is haunting the White House and the White House grounds. Apparently this British soldier died in the War of 1812, and he is seen to be walking around the premises holding a torch. I mean,
Very subtle.
Now another thing that's a little spooky, scary.
Ooh. Boy.
And thing is just the right word for it, okay? This was during the Taft administration.
Big boy Taft.
Apparently starting in 1911, the ghost of a 14 or 15-year-old boy was just around all the dang time, honey. Taft called him the Thing because I think it just kind of freaked him out, it sounds like. What he would do is he would come up behind people and he would kind of grab their shoulders and push them to the side, kind of as if he was behind them, trying to look over their shoulder to see what they were looking at. Not like violently pushing them to the side, but just kind of doing that, and then he would disappear. Apparently, every member of Taft's domestic staff had an encounter with this spirit. And it seems like Taft may have had an experience himself because he forbade anyone from talking about the Thing. And I don't think that this ghost has been seen since the Taft administration. I could be wrong though. Spooky, right?
Yeah.
I think our biggest section, the one with the most instances, the one with the just like the rock hard, like throbbing claims, we'll say, the most incredible dope encounters seem to be surrounding Abraham Lincoln, baby.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't get much bigger than old Lincoln.
I mean, he's a heavy hitter. He's on the dang penny. When Abraham Lincoln was in office, he himself said that he saw a ghost.
Goodness.
This is very sad. His son, Willie, died in the White House in 1862 at age 11. Very, very sad. And Abraham Lincoln said that he thought he saw his son's ghost around the White House multiple times.
Oh, wow.
And Mary Todd Lincoln, his wife, another first lady, hello, I love Mary Todd, she also said that she saw Willie's ghost, her son's ghost, at the foot of her bed. But what makes me upset is that in the articles that I've read, they were like, Abraham Lincoln saw his son's ghost after his son passed away in the White House. And then they were like, Mary Todd Lincoln was absolutely grief-stricken, and in her grief-stricken state, she could have sworn that she saw her dead son walking around the White House.
Exactly.
It's infuriating. Everyone has this narrative that Mary Todd Lincoln is this like absolutely hysterical woman when she's just was a woman that was actually like speaking her mind.
Exactly.
It drives me insane that it's still to this day people are like, that bitch is crazy. Yeah. You know who else is crazy? Every goddamn one. Okay?
Absolutely.
Give her a dang break. She was a first lady. Do you know how hard that is?
Absolutely.
Real dang hard. She went through a lot of dang shit in her life. Cut her a freaking break. Anyway, so Mary Todd Lincoln said that. And she also said that she heard Thomas Jefferson playing the violin.
Oh, wow. He must have a very specific way of playing. That's that's Jefferson.
That's playing. Jefferson, baby.
No one tickles the strings like
Tickles
Jefferson.
those strings. She's not the only person to have heard Thomas Jefferson playing the violin. Apparently, many people have claimed to have heard him in the Yellow Oval Room.
Ooh.
But Mary Todd Lincoln also said that she had seen and heard Andrew Jackson, former President Andrew Jackson, swearing and stomping around the White House. Andrew Jackson was a real fucker, so I believe that he's acting out even in death. But something that's I should have said before, really, is that Mary Todd Lincoln herself did have seances in the Red Room of the White House.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe some of those seances kind of worked, got some stuff moving and grooving.
Stirred up some trouble.
Because she was really into it, very sadly, because of the death of her sons.
Right.
And then, because didn't both of her sons die, or two of them die?
I believe so.
I'm sure we'll get into this later too, but spiritualism and seances, things like that were very big post-Civil War. Absolutely. So it makes sense that she was into that. But now that we've gone into what MTL and Abe experienced in their life, let's talk about the Abe sightings post-death.
Honest Abe. He's kind of like one of the most common.
Well, he's probably the most popular and the most kind of revered president.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. So it's like if you want to see one of it, you kind of want to see Abe.
And also, he went through the dang ringer while living at the White House.
Yeah.
Personally and professionally.
Yeah.
He was dealing with the Civil War, and his children were dying, and a lot was on his plate.
Ronald Reagan's daughter, Maureen.
Is it me?
Yeah. And her husband have seen a transparent figure in the Lincoln bedroom.
They both have claimed to have seen a transparent figure at different times. Apparently, they always used to stay in the Lincoln bedroom when they would visit.
Apparently, First Lady Grace Coolidge, wife of none other than Calvin Coolidge.
Do we got any Coolidge heads in the house?
Oh, where are my Coolidge peeps?
Coolidge heads.
Well, Grace Coolidge saw him looking out the window of what was his office. And then in 1942, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands was sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom when she heard a knock at the door. She opened it, saw Abe, and fainted.
The Queen fainted.
Knock at the door, you open it up, there's Abe.
Of course you're going to faint. You're going to be like, this guy's been dead for a long time.
A long, long time.
In 1940, Dylan, guess who came to visit the White House and stayed in the Lincoln bedroom in 1940?
1940? Winston Churchill.
You're dang freaking right.
Woo!
The one and only Churchill. Okay.
Old Winston.
Apparently, he was staying in the Lincoln bedroom. He was in the bathroom, taking a bath. Apparently, that was like his thing. He liked baths.
Oh, of course.
He got out of the bathroom, still naked as the day he was dang born.
Naked as a jaybird.
He said he walked out, and there he was. Mr. Abraham Lincoln was just sitting near the fireplace. Then Winston Churchill said,
"Good evening, Mr. President. You seem to have me at a disadvantage."
Then, according to Winston, Abe laughed and faded away.
Good God. I love that Winston had one ready. He had
he
a
was
joke
prepared.
in the chamber.
And I also love that he said, like, Abraham Lincoln laughed. You know what I mean? He
Lincoln got it. I love that.
Because who knows? You know what I mean? Like, of course, when you're telling the story, you're going to say, he laughed, because what are you going to say? You're not going to be like, hey, yeah, I told a joke to Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, and he didn't laugh, and he saw me naked, and I'm going through a lot right now. My country's in peril, and a dead man just laughed at my naked ass. So it makes sense that he didn't say that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows? Maybe Abraham Lincoln was like, this isn't my kind of humor. But according to Winston Churchill, he laughed. Now, a woman named Mary Eben, she worked for Eleanor Roosevelt. She was a part of Eleanor Roosevelt's staff.
Uh-oh.
She said that she saw Abraham Lincoln sitting on his old bed, pulling up his boots. And apparently she screamed so loud that the Secret Service came a-running. Go check on her, because they were like, what? And she was like, it was a dang Abraham Lincoln.
It was a Lincoln side. In 1989, a White House curator, Rex Scouten, said that Reagan's dog would go in any bedroom except the Lincoln bedroom.
Oh.
He'd just stand outside the door and bark,
said Rex Scouten.
That is crazy. Apparently, also, Ronald Reagan's dog, Lucky, he would bark at things that weren't there all the time, just throughout the house. Even sometimes he would get up and bark while on his hind legs.
Wow. Well, Lincoln is the most common ghost sighting. In fact, they say Lincoln always comes back whenever he feels the country is in need or in peril.
Something that I love about all of these is that, like, especially the Abraham Lincoln ones, like, none of them are really, like, scary.
Yeah.
They're kind of just like, oh, you're here. You're checking in. Like, hello, Mr. Lincoln.
Right.
Like, kind of just, like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think, I don't know if every single president has experienced something like this, but it seems like a lot of them have.
Yeah.
And I'm sure more have, that they just haven't said anything about it.
Probably not.
But Harry S. Truman, he was the one that we started off with his quote when he wrote that letter to his wife being like, there's stuff going on in here.
Right.
Later on, his daughter was writing a book, and she asked her father, Harry Truman, about the ghosts living in the White House.
Right.
And he has a very nice perspective on it, a perspective that I would like to say I would have on the situation.
I'm sure old Andrew Jackson could give me good advice and probably teach me good swear words. And I'm sure old Grover Cleveland could tell me some choice remarks to make to some political leader. So I won't lock my doors or bar them tighter if any of the old coots in the picture out in the hall want to come out of their frames for a friendly chat. President Truman.
And you know what, guys? This isn't even all of it, okay? There are lots of other stories. Please do your own research and see what you find. There's a lot of sightings of President McKinley, a lot of sightings of Ulysses S. Grant. But yeah, lots of activity going on. And also just in Washington, D.C., in general.
Right, absolutely.
Lots of ghost tours, lots of spooky things. I would love to go to Washington, D.C. again. I've been there. I love D.C., but I'd love to go again and go on one of these kind of spooky tours. Absolutely. I think it'd be fun.
I would too. Well, that's going to wrap it up for Ghosts of the White House. Maureen, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it's my ultimate pleasure.
Once again, my name's Dylan Hackworth.
I'm Maureen Bogey.
And this is Creep Street. Citizens of the Milky Way, good night and goodbye.